Hi and welcome to the third sitting with the Meter app. The goal for today will be to extend the app to actually store the meetings that we've measured the cost for. If you look at the app today, we can just measure the cost for one meeting, stop it, and reset the counter. So our goal is to store some kind of list with previous meetings. And this is so we'll have something useful to store when we implement the backend in the next screencast. So it's almost midnight and it's workday tomorrow, so let's get started with this. So I'm thinking we're gonna have some sort of list down here where we can see our previous meetings. And I'm thinking a list view with a split button where we can actually click on the right hand side to delete the meetings. And everything will still be local storage, but it's a preparation for the backend implementation next time. So let's get started. I'm thinking that the storage service interface needs to be extended to be able to return our meetings as well. So let's add another key. And two new methods. Get meetings. Should be some kind of meeting model. This should be an array. We should be able to save meetings as well when the collection changes. So let's define our meeting model. Since we're gonna store this in a database, we're gonna want an ID. We're still gonna want to store our people and the average salary, but we will also want to store for the duration of the meeting, so we will be able to recalculate the cost of the meeting. So duration, and right now our app is ticking every second, so let's store it in seconds. I'm thinking I'll add the date for the meeting as well. Let's do any on that. Alright, so we have our meeting model defined. And let's see our interface, meeting model, everything looks good. So let's implement our new methods, right? So we pretty much want to do the same thing here. We're gonna get the meetings from use the correct key. Let's use meetings. Here we'll create some default data. Let's create two meetings. Meeting model, give it an ID. Now, what was this parameter? Why is it giving me a Alright, let's go to the definition. The IntelliSense seems to be broke. Okay, so we have date, people, average salary. Okay, date, people, let's say 5 people, persons with an average salary of 45,000 crowns. We're in a meeting for, this was duration in seconds, so 60 seconds in a minute for 45 minutes. And in our second meeting, we had 20 people with an average of 30,000 crowns for 30 minutes, right? And when we store this, we're gonna want to store it on the same way, okay? So now we can get meetings from a storage service. We have some default data. Let's bind this up on our controller. So what I should do probably, since I'm binding to these methods from the HTML, I should probably define an interface for the controller to make sure that the bound methods from the HTML actually exists on the controller. But I'm not going to do that in this screencast. I just want to get this up and running as fast as possible. So let's create a property on the meeting scope called meetings. Meeting model array. Let's go to meetings. Alright, so now we have the meetings. And let's mark the UI. So I'm thinking we're gonna just add a list to the bottom of the screen right now. jQuery mobile. I know they have a good example of a split button list view. So let's copy paste some code. Split button. So let's keep it really simple. And just we won't have any images. And when we press this button, we just want to delete the record. Let's copy paste the source. We will be binding this up with ng-repeat. Let's do delete icon. I think it's called that. And no image, right? ng-repeat. M in meetings. Also, we do not want to open a pop-up. We'll do something else. We'll do delete meeting. Excellent. So we have a list of our meetings. We'll probably want to format our date. Be something like here. I don't know if I remember this syntax correct, but let's Google if it doesn't work, and it works. Alright, sweet. So yeah, we'd probably want to sort the meetings as well on the date. So let's do that. Order by. date, and we gave it new date by default, but let's hope this works. We'll test it later. Okay, so we have the date now, and we'll probably want to, I'm thinking we're gonna show how many people were there with, yeah, I don't know, let's just put something there. Let's say like, whoops, writing on my laptop, so I'm a bit clumsy. Persons for, what did we call it? Duration seconds. No, we didn't call it duration seconds. This wasn't saved. Okay. Meeting model, duration second. Okay, so now we probably polluted our local storage. So even though we write this correct this time, I don't think it's gonna show up now. So let's null our store. Right now we have objects stored without the S. Or do we? No, we're not actually storing anything yet, right? We're not watching this collection. Okay, so anyways, now we have seconds here, and we'll probably want to format this to look better. Let's just do something quick here. We should probably put this as a method on the class, but let's do something like if duration seconds larger than 59. If we have minutes, then let's just show. Let's render it's divided by 60 plus. So we're gonna come back and refactor this later, but for now let's just put it in the view. Question mark, colon. Otherwise, let's just display the seconds. Not a number, right? Okay. Why isn't this a number? Duration seconds divided by 60. Oh, so we'll spell it wrong, okay. Duration seconds. Okay. Alright, so now we have 30 minutes and 45 minutes. Probably if we get hours, we should do that. Write it as hours, but we can leave that as an exercise for somebody else to do. Okay, and we also want a cost. That's the important thing here. So let's calculate the cost, right? Calc cost. And we want to pass in the duration in seconds. And this, okay, so this actually worked, yeah, because we have a method called calccost, but it doesn't do it right. So let's take a look at this function calccost. Right now it's used from our tick. So we can do this. Let's do this a general function. Let's take in people and average salary, and also for let's call it seconds. Let's keep the typing. Let's not do this too quick. Okay, so we'll use people here instead. Take the parameter average salary and multiply this with how many seconds. And down here we'll pass in our current parameters and 1 second. Okay, so let's see how this works out. Doesn't look that good. Also, this doesn't work now. Okay, so we obviously missed something fundamental here. Can't read property scope of undefined. Right, so we're gonna need to pass in self here. A self. And this seems to work, but we still get null here, right? So let's use Batarang and see duration seconds. That's exactly what we want it to be. Yeah, of course, and we'll need to pass in people, average salary as well. We probably shouldn't be doing this in the view either, but let's just bear with me now to get this working. Okay, so we seem to get something. We're gonna want to format this as currency. Also, we don't want a dollar sign. Right, so right now we don't have the possibility to store anything yet, so let's add a new button that just stores the current information, the current meeting. And also let's hook this up with an actual method. Alright, so ng-click. Let's implement the delete meeting method first. Meeting to delete. So we are passing in the meeting we want to delete. So let's find it in our list. Index of our meeting to delete. If we find it, let's just remove it. Oops. Okay. Right, delete seems to work. But now every time we refresh this page, we're gonna get the meetings back. That's because we aren't actually watching the collection and storing it and resaving it when it gets changed. So let's do that as well. So Let's watch this. Meetings, and we'll want to save meetings. We're gonna pass in true here that we want to watch our child object, since this is an array. So let's implement our save meetings. And just pass in our collection. Alright, so whoops, wrong window. Okay. So if we delete a record now and refresh the page, the record is permanently removed. So that's good, and we probably also want to be able to store new records. So let's add another button. So this is obviously not the best UI, but let's just get this working. Store current meeting. Let's create a method called store current meeting. So I like to often come back to, so we stopped it, come back to the HTML page and actually make sure that nothing has broken since the last time, even when doing small changes, just to have a baseline for when it worked and when we actually broke something. So nothing happens when we press store now. But what we'll want to do is probably if we are running, what are we calling that? Yeah, let's copy paste this. If we are running, we probably want to do stop, right? Want to stop, and we want to store the new meeting. So push so we'll probably want to do some kind of post here. We've done the API, but for now we'll just add it to our collection. And the duration. Oh yeah, so we aren't actually storing the duration in a variable yet. So we're gonna need to do that. Let's add it to the scope. And for each tick, we can just increase the duration. And we reset it, we can reset the duration. So we actually don't need cost now, but let's keep it there for now. Let's add duration. Okay. So we are initializing our variable, and for each tick we are increasing the seconds. And let's start something. We get a value. Let's stop it. Let's store it. Oh, so we get an error, right? Of course. Dupes. Okay, so I think this is that we don't have a unique. We don't have a unique key for our model here. So let's Google this. I think we can just specify something on the. Let's see here. So why can't we store this? Dupes. So let's debug this. Meeting controller. Store meeting. Okay, so when are we actually getting this error? We don't have any meetings now. Okay. Stop. Store. We have some sort of issue with our order by date. Okay. Let's not use the minified version of Angular. Let's see what's wrong. Okay, use track by. Right, I recognize this. Actually ran into this not too long ago, so yeah, so we'll just add this track by. So this occurs when duplicate keys exist in the repeat. So we don't actually have anything unique here yet. Where do we add this? Value in meetings track by index. Let's see if this solves the problem. Alright, so we actually did manage to store it, but we couldn't render a result. Okay, so we have a lot of meetings. Let's do start, stop, store. So it looks pretty good, right? Details. Right, so we probably don't want to be able to press store several times like this. So let's bind ng disabled to if, what we're calling it. We were calling the variable duration. So if the duration is 0, we won't be able to store it. Also, we shouldn't be able to reset it, right? Since there's nothing to reset. So we start, and we can reset it. Let's delete the things, the records. Let's stop it. Let's store it. Alright, so when we store it, we should probably do a reset, right? And if we had some unit tests here, we'll probably go ahead and write a test for this, but we haven't done any unit testing yet, but we're gonna address that in another screencast. So once we've stored the value, let's see, where are we? Store current meeting. When we are done, we should probably do a reset. Start, stop, store. So I can't think of anything else to add right now. I'm pretty satisfied with this. We have a model that we could store on the back end once we implement that in our next screencast. And obviously we have some refactorings to do here in our HTML page. We don't have to have so much logic here, but we'll address that in another screencast as well, or if somebody else wants to do it as an exercise. So when we load up, and if we're logged in, perhaps we want to fetch and synchronize our meetings, and when we delete them, we're gonna synchronize that with the backend as well. Right now we keep it in local storage. Stop. If you reset, nothing happens. Let's test this a bit. So stop, store, run it, reset it, nothing happens. We just restart the counter. If we store it, alright, so I think I'm pretty satisfied. So until next time, have a good day. Bye.